Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and I thought today I would give you a little bit of Christmas in July. I'm going to pull out this sketch from Scrapbook Generations, and it calls for a wall of photos on the left, one photo on the right, but I'm actually going to have two photos on the right. These photos are from our Christmas photo shoot back in 2021. Again, my amazing photographer took these, and when I tell you that she always has these awesome scenes and backdrops, I am not lying. These photos were probably some of my favorite photos that she's taken. I was in a green and blue plaid dress, and Eli was in a blue long sleeve shirt with denim jeans, and he just looked so handsome. The photos were taken at a Christmas tree farm setup. We obviously do not have Christmas tree farms here in the state of Florida. Most of the time, we get our Christmas trees when we purchase them real from like Home Depot and Lowe's. I know there are a couple places, but they tend to be pretty further out. But we had so much fun taking these photos. On the left hand side, I do put the wall of photos just like the sketch calls for. I really wanted to showcase my two favorite photos, and those are going to be on the right, but I definitely wanted to incorporate some of the other photos from the photo session. I did use a flip flap to kind of break up some of the photos on the left. I decided to put a card at the top of the flip flap that says Merry Christmas, and then when you flip it open, there are two photos of myself and Eli in front of the like Christmas tree farm setup. This Christmas in July idea that I had really came from the fact that we're in Florida, it's the middle of summer, and it is so hot outside. So I thought that maybe if I would scrapbook some of my cooler month photos, like our Christmas photos, that maybe I would just forget about the heat for a little bit. It didn't really work, but I at least tried. After I added my photos on the left-hand side of the layout, I decided to add a border strip with the striped paper. I did pull out my border punch, and this one gives it a small wave, and the waves are not uniform. So each one of them are a different size. And I like that, especially with the striped paper, because it gives it a little bit of a whimsical to that very uniform stripe. Once I get the photos down on the left, I start to work on the right hand side. Now, you guys know that I am definitely a double page scrapbooker. I enjoy the look of two-page layouts. I feel like they have a better flow to them. But every once in a while, I get the urge to do a one-page layout. Usually, about halfway through that urge of completing the one-page layout, I realize how much I dislike them. But that was my urge at this point. I wanted to create a one-page layout with these two photos. So when I went looking for a sketch, I went looking for a sketch that had the wall of photos on the left and a one-page feel to the right side of the layout. And that's how I ended with this sketch. Of course, I couldn't just put one photo on the right-hand side because one photo on a one-page layout just seems like a waste of space for me. So I was able to get two full 4x6 photos on the right-hand side of the layout. I first pulled out that wood grain that had the white snowflakes on it. Again, remember, I'm trying to think about all of the cool things as I beat the 100-degree heat out here in July. The sketch called for 3 strips of paper, and I was trying to find paper that was a little bit on the lighter side since that wood grain was such a dark color. I first pulled out the stripe paper and added that as the whitest stripe. I did use the Stampin' Up! Banner punch to give each one of the pieces a banner edge. But if you guys remember back at the beginning of this month, I had talked about the fact that I could never get these banner pieces straight, especially when they are on the smaller size. So I did struggle with it quite a bit. After I started putting the pieces down, I realized that the stripe paper was a little too busy or maybe too dark. I wasn't sure, but I just wasn't liking it. But I decided to go with the polka dotted piece instead as the larger banner. And then I pulled in the stripe paper in a smaller size. Because I had two busy patterns, I decided to go with a tone-on-tone red for my third banner. And I really like that combination. And then I fuss around with the banners for quite a bit, trying to figure out which order I wanted them in. I decided that I wanted to mat my photos, and I matted them on the same cream cardstock that the background paper is in. And if you guys follow my channel, you'll know that I did a tutorial with these photos last month on how to use the layering guides. I reused the same video, just sped it up quite a bit so that you guys could see the layering guides in use for this particular layout. If you would like more details on the layering guides, make sure that you check out my tutorial on how to use them. I love my layering guides and I use them in almost every video. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get over that curve, these tools are probably the best tools for matting your photos. I pull out my Distress ink in Vintage Photo to ink up the edges of the cream cardstock as well as the pattern paper that's going to go on the right hand side of the layout. I mainly did that because I matted the photos in the same color as the background cardstock. I was thinking the other day when I was working on a layout about how often I ink up my edges. It's about 50-50. I don't know what it is about a particular collection that makes me decide to ink it as opposed to not inking it. When I'm working with Echo Park, I feel like that paper line lends more to being inked. However, when I work with like Doodlebug or Bella Boulevard, I don't always ink those edges. I love the bright, cheery colors of those papers, and I feel like the inking doesn't really go with it. So let me know in the comments below, what makes you decide to ink your edges? Is there a certain paper line that makes you ink it, or is it the photos that make you ink it? I'm always interested to hear from you guys in regards to what makes your decisions. Once I ink up the papers, I adhere all of the paper down as well as the photos. Both of my photos are going to be laid flat. I actually have very little fun foam on this particular layout. I can't believe it's already the end of July. We're 6 months away from Christmas, and it just felt like we were celebrating Christmas yesterday. My photographer just released her fall photo shoots and told us that her Christmas photo shoots were going to be released here within the next couple days. So now I'm going to have to start deciding on what outfit I'm going to wear and what I'm going to put Eli in, as well as what theme we're going with. After I got all of the paper down, I started to look through the embellishments. I used to be gung-ho about Echo Park, but recently I've struggled with using their collections because their collections don't have a lot of embellishments. I switched over to Doodlebug and Bella Boulevard because I get so many embellishments with it, and I like to use all kinds of embellishments on my layouts. I don't have super heavy embellishments, but I do like to have quite a few in each one of my clusters. I did pull out a circle embellishment that has the word joy on it, and I'm going to add that to the left-hand side of the layout, and I do put that up on Fun Foam. I then decided to pull out my circle punch, and I punched a circle in the polka dotted paper that I used on the left. I also cut out a red swirly sticker because I had that red strip over on the left, and I wanted to make sure that I could bring that red color over to the right. These particular photos on the right hand side of the layout, we're sitting in a twin size bed that is hanging from a tree. And the area is beautifully decorated with a lot of greenery, but then there's also snowflakes. So of course I had to add a snowman to my layout. I added him right above the joy embellishment on the left. I then pulled out this one Christmas ornament, and I liked it hanging from that circle. I decided that I would go ahead and pull out two more of the ornaments, but I was struggling to decide where to put it because they wouldn't all fit underneath that circle. So I did end up pulling one up, and I started from the left side, almost tucking one of them underneath the photo. Then I added the brown ornament back down, and once I got that down, I added the red ornament to the left. I thought about moving the circle over a little bit, but it was already stuck down and I didn't want to have to tear it up. So I went to the sticker sheet and found a snowflake that was on that dark wood grain. I added it next to the circle, and so now the red ornament looks like it's hanging from the star. And I Really like the way that those ornaments kind of frame that circle. I then pulled out this Christmas tree and I wanted to add it next to the snowman, but I felt like the proportions were off. The snowman looked way too big to be sitting next to that Christmas tree, but I really liked the Christmas tree. I decided to move it over to the left-hand side of the layout. I struggled with the fun foam and trying to get it to stick to the sticker and then stop sticking to me. So it did take me a little bit to get that tree down on the left-hand side. I pulled the sticker sheet back out and I found a red snowflake that I added next to the joy circle embellishment. I also found a present set that I added to the top of Eli's photo on that circle paper. And then I added a third snowflake to the cluster next to the snowman. I pulled out these circle alphas in a brown wood grain color, and I just added the year 2021 right above Eli's photo and right next to those presents. And it fit perfectly, which never happens for me. Once I get the year down, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this Christmas in July video. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of a cool refresher from the very hot summer that we are having. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.